offensively, we both generally are 1 and 2 in the country in field goal percentage. I think shot selection is a big factor with both of our teams. The shots that we get are the shots that we get all year long, that the same people are taking the same shots, I think, in every game. So I think for us, this game is a lot about offense, because I don't know that you can stop them. I think they're going to score. And so the question is, can you keep up with them by scoring as much?
Question right here.
Muffet, you won the national championship a while back. This will be 4 times in the title game in 5 years. You haven't won it again. Is it frustrating? Is there some feeling, well, I have won this, or does it drive you crazy that I've been 1 game away 3 previous times and we weren't able to get over the hump?
I think getting here is a great achievement for any program. I think that there's probably 350 schools in the country who'd love to trade places with us. So I think being here has been just a great achievement for all of us. I think probably because we did win 1, that maybe I don't feel that sort of pressure, but I want this for this team. I want to win for this team so that they can have that feeling of looking up in the rafters and seeing another banner.
Doug?
Muffet, you said how this group is relish the underdog and it's a loose team right now. How different is that from last year, when it seemed that there was so much different mentality going into this game, the pressure of 2 undefeateds and such, whereas now you are the underdog, and just the difference in last year and this year?
Last year was such a business-like approach. We had a really good team coming in undefeated, which was an amazing feat for us to accomplish. We lost Natalie Achamwa, so it immediately put us back in the underdog role. So I think that we came into the game with an underdog mentality, but I think that team was different because we were so experienced. We had so many players that could score. Kayla McBride has had so much success against Connecticut in the past, and so I think it's a lot different in that way, just because our experience from last year and this year, we're just still a little giddy.
Al? Right here.
Coach, have you gone through the last 8 minutes of last night's game yet and figured out what went wrong at that time and how to fix that?
Honestly, I thought we got really good shots. I mean, we missed a couple of point-blank layups. We missed a couple of shots that we normally make. And then we didn't rebound. I think it was a little bit of both ends. When we were making our runs, we were holding them to 1 shot. We were scoring in transition. When we were missing shots and not getting rebounds, I think that was the difference in the game. So I still felt pretty good because execution-wise, I thought we were still getting the shots we wanted. Our problem at that point, I thought, was at the defensive end.
Mike?
Mike Jensen, Philadelphia Inquirer. You talked about not having the same intimidation factor. Is there any of that with Stewart also, that she's not just the 2-time National Player of the Year, that they've been on the court with her?
No, because I think we've had that kind of player ourselves. I think we feel like Jewel was Player of the Year also, and I think she's a great player, but I don't think that we have any intimidation factor going against us.
Michelle?
Michelle Smith, ESPNW. Muffet, Connecticut's in a position to win a 10th title. Is there some common denominator among these UConn teams that they are able to put themselves in this position? Are there 2 or 3 things that they do consistently that allow them to be in this spot?
Well, I think they have a great coach, and I think they have a lot of the best players in the country. So I would say there were 2 really good reasons for that.
Joey?
Shot a hole in my theory right off the bat, didn't it?
Muffet, Joey Johnston, Tampa Tribune. You've played UConn so much. You've gone up against Geno so much. I'm sure this thing has evolved. You've been on top. He's been on top. All kinds of things have happened. What are the myths and the realities of your relationship with him and all the times you guys have gone up against each other?
We have a really good relationship. I think it's we see each other out recruiting. We talk on the road. I think he's the kind of guy that if I wanted to talk offense and I called him, I think we would sit down and talk about offense or recruiting or anything that we wanted to. I think that both being from Philly, we just share some sort of a bond. Jim Foster is kind of best friends with both of us, and so we've got a lot of common threads running through our relationship, but I think a lot of respect on both sides.
Mike?
Hey, Coach. The offense that you run, how has it evolved, and who taught you?
Well, it's still evolving. We run the Princeton offense, which Pete Carrill started at Princeton, and one of my former players, Liz Feely, was the women's coach there at the time. So she did a lot of the work for me. We went out to a lot of different people. We went up to Northwestern. Bill Carmody was an assistant with Pete Carrill, so we watched his practice quite a bit, talked to him a lot. UC Davis runs it. I sent my assistants out to different places. Went out to Air Force, and Coach Scott was out there. We've just been to a lot of places to see people, and it constantly evolves because we have different players. This year we're still evolving. I don't think we run it nearly as well as we have in the past. Natalie Chama was really special, I think, in that. But we put our own wrinkles in to fit our team, and that's kind of the part that I like the most about offense is tinkering with it and changing it up to see what fits us.
Muffet, John Finneran from the South Bend Tribune. Did you catch yourself last night after the game going back and saying all the things that have occurred this season and saying to yourself, right, I still can't believe we've gotten this far with this young of a team?
Yeah, we had some we had some really bad practices this year, and the coaches were kind of going, remember that time at Mohegan Sun when it was the absolute worst practice, not just of the year but of my 30 years, and we had some just awful practices at times during the year, and I remember telling the team we were practicing like an NIT team, and I mean we just had so much that we should have forgotten, but just drawn back on some of those things. And we had some games too where we really didn't play well. But I think when it's fun to look back now and say, look where we've come.
Any more questions for Coach McGraw? Doug? Sorry.
Muffet, you've been around the game for a while, and for so long it used to be the Old Dominions and Louisiana Tech battling, and then UConn, Tennessee, and now it's you guys and UConn. Is it kind of nice that for a sport that's still growing, that the two teams that people probably know more than anybody else are playing for a championship tomorrow night?
I think it's a rivalry people want to see. I think that it's two well-known teams, and I think the games, we've had some good games in the past, so I think it's one that people want to tune into.